These are the warm-ups for 3.4 day 2. So I want you to pause this, try these on your own, and then we'll go through them together. So the first couple say to find the reciprocal. Remember, the reciprocal of a number is whatever that number is multiplied by to get to 1. All we have to do is flip the fraction around. So the reciprocal of 6/7 is 7 over 6. Because if I multiply those together, I'm left with 1. The reciprocal of -3 2/5, well, first I have to change this to improper. I leave that negative off until the end and then use the strategy of MAD. Multiply, add, keep the denominator. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17, keep the denominator, and then add on the negative. So -17/5. Well, the reciprocal of -17/5 is -5 over 17. We just flip it around. Then, dividing fractions, 4/5 divided by 3/10. Remember, to divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, change, flip. Keep 4/5, change to multiplication, and then flip. Instead of 3 over 10, 10 over 3. Now I want to look to see if I can cross simplify. 4 and 3, 5 and 10. 5 goes into 5 once, goes into 10 twice. Now I can multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 3 is 3. This is an improper fraction because that numerator is larger, so I have to change it to a mixed number. 3 goes into 8 2 times, so that's my whole number. 2 times 3 is 6. And then, to get from 6 to 8, I have 2 left over, and I keep my denominator of 3. So this would be 2 2/3. Then we have 5/6 divided by 3. First, I'm going to write 3 as a fraction, so I put it over 1. And then to divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, change, flip. Keep 5/6, change to multiplication, and flip. Instead of 3 over 1, 1 over 3. Now I look to see if I can cross simplify. 5 and 3, 6 and 1. Nope, can't do that. So I multiply the numerators. 5 times 1 is 5. Multiply the denominators. 6 times 3 is 18. I can't simplify that, so there's my answer. 5/18. This is lesson 3.4, day 2. So we're going to continue practicing dividing fractions, but this time we're going to be working with mixed numbers. So just for some review, to divide by a fraction, here's a tip, keep, change, flip. You can also think about it as multiplying by the reciprocal, or dividing by fractions as easy as pi, flip the second and multiply. So the first example, this is just review, -3/8 divided by 2/9. We keep, change, flip. We keep -3/8. We change to multiplication. And then we flip. Instead of -2 over 9, we're going to write that as -9 over 2. And now that I have multiplication, I can look for opportunities to cross simplify. So I look and I see -3 and 2, nope. 8 and -9, can't simplify. So now I'm just going to multiply. The numerators, -3 times -9 is 27. And then the denominators, 8 times 2 is 16. 16 goes into 27 one time. 1 times 16 is 16. So to get to 27 from 16, I have 11 left over, and I keep my denominator of 16. So my answer is 1 11/16. Then we have 9/10 divided by -12. Remember, to change -12 into a fraction, all we have to do is put it over 1. And now to divide by a fraction, here's a tip, keep, change, flip. I keep 9/10. I change to multiplication. And I flip. Instead of -12 over 1, it's going to be -1 over 12. Now I look for opportunities to cross simplify. 10 and -1, can't do that. 9 and 12, those are both divisible by 3. 3 goes into 9 3 times, goes into 12 4 times. 3 times -1 is -3. 10 times 4 is 40. I always check to see if I can simplify that further. In this case, I can't, so my answer is -3/40. Then, when we're dividing by a mixed number, the most important thing to remember is that we have to change them to improper fractions first, before we do anything else. And then we're just going to use our normal rule of keep, change, flip. So the first example that I want you to write down is 1 5/7 divided by 6. So again, the first thing we need to do is use that strategy of MAD to change this mixed number into an improper fraction. So I am going to multiply, add, keep the denominator. 1 times 7 is 7. 7 plus 5 is 12. Keep my denominator of 7. Then, before I move on to change flip, I'm going to first put 6/1 so that it's already as a fraction. And now I can change to multiplication and flip 6/1 should be 1/6. Now I look to see if I can cross simplify, and in this case I can. 12 and 6. 6 goes into 6 one time. 6 goes into 12 two times. And now I'm going to multiply. 2 times 1 is 2. 7 times 1 is 7. I can't simplify that any further, so my answer is 2/7. Then we have 7 7/8 divided by -2 1/4. So the first thing I need to do is change these to improper. I'm going to do that by using the strategy of MAD, multiply, add, keep the denominator. Multiply 7 times 8, add 7, keep the denominator. 7 times 8 is 56. 56 plus 7 is 63. Keep my denominator of 8. And then I'm going to keep this as division for now so that I can change this second mixed number into an improper fraction. So we know that the negative is just going to stay there. And then I'm going to do my strategy of MAD. 2 times 4 plus 1. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. Keep my denominator of 4. So I have -9/4. And now that I've done that, I can keep, change, flip. So I keep 63/8. I change to multiplication. And I flip. Instead of -9/4, it's going to be -4/9. Now that it's multiplication, I can look to see if I can cross simplify. And in this case, I can. 9 goes into 9 once. 9 goes into 63 7 times. 4 goes into -4, -1 time. I'm not going to forget about the negative. And 4 goes into 8 2 times. Now I can multiply. 7 times -1 is -7. And 2 times 1 is 2. To change this into a mixed number, I just have to ask myself, how many times does 2 go into -7? 2 goes into -7 -3 times, because 2 times -3 is -6. And then to get from -6 to -7, I have 1 left over. And I keep my denominator of 2. So my answer is -3 1/2. All right, one quick word problem. It says a carton of juice contains 64 fluid ounces. A juice glass holds 3 1/5 ounces. How many glasses of juice can be poured? So we take the 64 ounces and we have to divide that by 3 1/5 ounces. Now before I can do anything, I have to change these both into improper fractions. So I'm going to rewrite 64 as 64/1 divided by, and then I use my strategy of MAD, multiply, add, keep the denominator. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16, keep my denominator of 5. And now, to divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, change, flip. Keep 64/1, change to multiplication, and then flip, so I have 5 over 16. Once we have multiplication, that's when we can cross simplify. 1 and 5, nope. 64 and 16, yes. 16 goes into 16 one time. 16 goes into 64 4 times. Now I multiply. 4 times 5 is 20. 1 times 1 is 1. So I get 20 over 1, which is the same as just 20. And the question asks how many glasses of juice can be poured, so our answer would be 20 glasses.